Maybe
Cool
outro. Hey, what's up, chat? What's going on? How y'all doing tonight? Got my boy Last Relic here with me. We're waiting on Aura to show up. Aura's running a little bit behind. No intro song tonight because what happened apparently yesterday, somebody claimed it, and it was somebody claimed the intro song. Yeah, and what's crazy about it is that the person that claimed it doesn't belong to them, so I have to like dispute it. So
someone's just trying to hurt you.
Yeah, it's just some random person. That happens a lot. That happens a lot.
Boy.
Yeah, people do that a lot. They'll claim songs that don't belong to them, hoping that they could get ad revenue from a video, that they'll get a short-term amount of ad revenue. Yeah, people do that. Yeah, people do that. Aura, what's going on?
What's up, Aura?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, but they'll do that like as a short-term way of trying to get like, ad revenue and stuff that. It's a pretty garbagey thing to do, but
that's crazy.
It's par for the course of stuff that people do. So, once that's cleared up, we'll bring back the music. But for now, we're just gonna have to do something else, for the outro song today.
Word.
But anyways, so this is where we left off yesterday. We're gonna try to get through the rest of the Gorman's interview tonight. With Relic here, give some thoughts on it, and then we'll close it out, and then we'll be pretty much open to.
Hopefully, we could get through all of it. There's still an hour left.
Yeah, there's still a little bit over an hour left, so it's a bit, but we'll try. We're gonna give it the old college try. Y'all. Yeah, all good, man. All good. We're gonna be on for a bit, so we'll be on probably till at least like 11:30. So you should be good. But let's get this party started. Let's go.
Play a video.
Yeah, I'm trying.
The fact that my face is on there with all of that, which is completely unacceptable, but also something that should have been avoidable because corporate was supposed to turn over in their franchise agreement full access. I was supposed to have ownership access to all the social media,
from
and
that
from the
first got it. There are a bunch of things they violated at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Chris, we know that they could. They could remove things on social media.
Absolutely.
We know that they're monitoring BAM franchises now on social media, making them take posts down.
So there are two, at least that I know of, for Instagram and Facebook. There are two Salem Bricks and Minifigs accounts on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about any of the other ones because I don't go looking, but somebody opened a brand new Instagram and Facebook account after they took our store. So somebody opened a new account.
Do we know if they've opened that store
since the account?
Since their temporary closure is like, I know that some people went to go check out on that store right now, like week or two ago, like 2 weeks ago. But I want to know if they opened that one at all.
As far as I know, I haven't seen anything about it reopening, anything official, because I think if they had by now, especially, somebody would have either taken like a secret video or they would have, taken pictures of it actually being open and stuff like that. I think we would have seen like proof of activity at that store. So I'm guessing it's still closed, despite what people might have said. So
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
That had the most followers, that shows Brian's consignment, all of that stuff. Posting on that page stopped when they took the store from us. They never posted on that page. So all of the posts, I hope people hear this part.
Which that's what happened with the social medias that you had too. You said they had completely separate social medias, right?
Yeah. They like just stopped posting on there, like pretty much immediately. And then for some reason they opened up another one and then just said, like, made a post like, go to this new one for it. It's really stupid. There's no reason to do that, but
it's counterproductive. It's like,
like if they're trying to sabotage, they completed their goal because they destroyed at least my store for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
It's freaking wild, man.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Very dumb.
If you are going out there and leaving comments on those were all stuff that I had posted when I was still either managing or owning the location. But corporate has full control. Like, you can still see on the page transparency who owns those.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that either one of you could tell us about a U-Haul?
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of crazy. We saw the U-Haul, know it was a U-Haul. Like, we can tell you for a fact there was a U-Haul that was there, but we didn't think of it as the biggest deal at the time. We're like, the guy showed up in a U-Haul.
I was like, that's weird.
And it was just like, that's weird that he showed up in a U-Haul.
He made a comment that and I think he was talking on the phone to somebody because he spent a bunch of time like just kind of wandering around the store talking on the phone. I don't know to who while I was going through and like taking the pictures, and he made a comment about like he was going to pick up like a truck or a car or something, and that's why he was driving a U-Haul, which I thought was weird.
You don't tow a
but
truck
I didn't really
with a U-Haul.
think about
you don't
it.
rent a U-Haul box truck to tow a truck. But anyway, like we don't know. Like, you know, but we thought it was weird. It wasn't until CoffeeZilla told us that they denied that he had the U-Haul. We were like, why even lie about that? We know he had a U-Haul. And it's just, I hope folks out there are seeing it's just one more time when they're going, here's our story, and our story is absolutely the case. There is no Mansell collection. Oh, wait, there is. There was no U-Haul. Oh, wait, there was.
What?
Like, people are not.
And when we...
It's kind of nuts that they keep doing that. It's the same same thing I pointed out before. Like, why would you just terminate somebody when people that want to open a franchise in the future are going to ask us and be like, well, they destroyed our lives, so have fun trying to be a franchisee. And then like all these little things, like how do you not think that somebody's going to talk to the Gormans and be like, yeah, there was a U-Haul. Yeah, there were sets. Like, this is insane. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
That's what I mean. It
was a rental car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the arrogance.
It's my mobile home.
That was a U-Haul. That was my house.
He uses his Foreman grill to do barbecues for the homeless out the U-Haul. Yeah, that's what it was there for. You don't even know it's a rental car.
It's a rental car.
Love that. That's too funny. See, that's the thing. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that old, like, I'm sure you've seen this, or the old Home Shopping Network clip with the guy with the ladder where he's just like, he's trying to lock the ladder, you know, because he's like, see, you just lock it and then you just climb over top of it, and then the ladder like it breaks, and then and then the woman's like, oh my gosh, Harold, are you okay? He's like, I didn't lock it. It's just like that. Just reminds me of like what they're doing. They're dumb. They keep lying for no reason, and then it just like it blows up in their face. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're here. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you joining us here for tonight.
Yeah, she made goodies.
Yep.
There's no consignments. Yeah, there is.
Yeah. And when we interviewed the last Relic, he talked about how they had brought a U-Haul to his store down there as well.
In Florida. So they did the same thing.
There's something in the Canby store too.
Yep.
So
I think this was the first time they mentioned
for the Canby cases on record. I'm not speaking.
The Canby store. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I have heard of the Canby store. I just don't know much about the Canby store.
So did you see? You saw Benjamin Gorman's video that he put out. It was like a 20-minute video.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what it was about, the Canby store, and
that's right.
Yeah, like I actually even made a video about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one with plastic palette or whatever.
Yes, plastic palette.
Yeah, that's the one we haven't got into yet. I almost forgot that I had that. Thank you for reminding me. We'll have to go over that on a future stream because I have that lawsuit. I have the documents for that
for real?
suit.
Nice.
Yeah, I have all the documents for it.
You had it for like a while too.
Yeah, I've had it for a
Sherlock
couple
Holmes
weeks.
up in this.
Yeah, I've had it for a couple of weeks, so that's something we could go over on a future stream. Is the because I believe that lady was I believe much older. I believe she's like in her late 60s or 70s or something.
You guys mind if I step out? My bad.
Yeah, no,
I have to go handle some stuff.
Yeah, handle your business, man. We'll still be here. So we do have that. So that's something we'll probably cover on the future stream.
Oh
is the Canby store. Because I've had that for a little bit.
And had a turn to say that they showed up in the dead of night to take all the inventory and move it to another place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like thieves in the night.
So we're going to move to inventory now. And you mentioned CoffeeZilla's video. He did a really good investigation on it, did a great video. But I want to get your thoughts about the overall valuation, because that has been all over the place.
Yeah.
We've heard you in other videos say that, you, in an effort to promote it, you looked at this enormous collection and you kind of gauged it at $200,000
based on other like collections that I had seen for sale. Right.
And Brian initially, I believe, said that it was worth between 150 and 200,000. I believe you had posted early that it was 150 to 200,000, and then some of the posts a little bit down the road said 200,000, and then CoffeeZilla comes out with a video saying that his estimation is 107,000. BAM Corporate comes out and says it's between 95 and 100. So you got all these issues and discrepancies. Are the minifigs accounted for with the inventory? Are they part of it? You guys know how incredibly valuable 900 and something minifigures are. That is absolute gold. When you're talking about some of these minifigures are $1,500. $500, $300. I mean, it just you have the very first Ahsoka Tano minifigure. You've got money right there in your hands. So let me ask you this first: who's the first person to actually say a figure? Did Brian have an idea of what this collection was worth, or his father, or were you the person that kind of came in and said, well, this is probably between $150,000 and $200,000? Where did that all begin?
So
that's a good question.
I'm going to go back a long way.
Yeah.
It all started when he first stopped by the store. He brought in like a folder with his dad's inventory sheet,
like handwritten.
I think this one was too, right? It was typed up, but some of it was handwritten too, with like all of his costs and then like he had just had pictures. And so the very first time I'm looking at like flipping through this list of inventory and just going off of like my recognizing the names of the sets themselves, and then looking at the pictures and just looking at like the sheer volume of the pictures. And then we're going and talking and I'm telling, and that wasn't even including in the minifigures, because those were in like baseball card actually boxes. They were like those thin baseball card boxes.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this and going like, just based on like what he's holding, I'm like, it could be anywhere from like $50,000 to $1 million. It's hard to tell just by going through these sheets, right? And so then it was, going up to his dad's house and taking a look at there, and then talking to him after that and going like, we could be sitting anywhere between like 100 and 250, just depending on it, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was and so that number evolved as we start moving sets from his dad's house to Brian's storage unit, and then Brian's storage unit to the store, and getting them all inventoried and then putting those in. And I was going off of Bricklink, right? Some people go off of eBay. So, I mean, if there's viewers that are watching that are trying to do their own, some of them are using eBay, which we never really used eBay to evaluate prices in the store, because eBay tends to be inflated. Because you're selling to a wider audience, essentially.
Yep, that and the fact that because of eBay's fees, people always have to sell stuff for more to cover cost of fees and things like that. So that's why there's more inflation on a site like eBay and Amazon at times, when Amazon was able to really sell secondary market stuff, which is not something they really do much these days, unfortunately, because they've kind of pushed out people that sell on the secondary market. But yeah, it's pretty garbagey the way that works. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Whereas Bricklink,
and people getting bidding wars right at the end.
Yeah, whereas Bricklink is a very niche. It is for Lego people, right?
And eBay takes into account the 12 to 15% eBay fee.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be, you'd have to reduce that percentage on valuation.
Bricklink just makes it really easy to look at the last 6 months sales, the current items. And so that's what I would do is I would look at, okay, what did the figure in new condition sell for 6 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. What is the average of a figure in new condition selling for right now? So when you see the high and low, we would use that kind of a judge between the used value and the new value. Because when I'm doing the high and low, those are going to vary based on the condition of the figure itself, right? Is it a little bit scratched? So we're going to be probably closer to the low value. The higher one will be down. Is the box a little bit damaged, right? The higher value will be down. So as we started,
say again, or?
No, I was saying hi to Rick. Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
I started actually going through that. And then there were some there were some in the spreadsheet, you can see there's some yellow highlighted ones. And those were there was one in particular. I don't even remember which one it was, but I got so excited seeing it on the list. And then it wasn't actually in the collection. And so some of those just they weren't in the collection. His dad had either given them away or, as gifts or whatever. So there were a few that would have been incredibly valuable. There was one that I think it was the first appearance of Commander Cody or Fox or something. I don't remember. There's a little note on the spreadsheet for it. That just wasn't there. So the numbers would evolve or
sure.
This figure is damaged. This one's got a cracked torso. So it might be worth $300. It's actually not worth anything unless there happens to be an extra, or I can find an extra torso in the store or whatever. Right. Or is this Leia the misprint? It's all of those things those inventory, it took so long to go through because you've got to go through those figures. And some of them were this has the wrong head. So we've got to find the right head. Or
wrong hair piece or
exactly. Yeah, or it's got the wrong torso or the wrong legs or
that sounds
this
like
figure
a nightmare,
is misnumbered and he has it as this number, but it's actually this so many tiny details. And so that's why there's some that never actually made it priced to the inventory sheet because I couldn't actually price it until I was sure I could.
If that's one of the reasons Relic never wanted to do something like that.
I would think, right?
I gotta ask him when he gets back. Gonna be is that why you never wanted to deal with it? So you don't have to deal with stuff like that? That sounds insane. That sounds like a nightmare. I'll be like, oh man.
Well, I guess that would be one. I mean, one of the whatchamacallit,
downsides,
deterrence to doing something like this, right?
Yeah.
So Rick, you didn't get maybe I should post the Rick said he didn't get notification of the live stream, so I will let me post it on our community tab to see. Also, for those of you that are in chat right now, we're also on X. So if you follow @Toy Bounty Hunter, I usually share them. I mean, sometimes I forget, and Aura has to, but hopefully this will help though. All right. Post this. Let's see. Hopefully this will help for the people that didn't get the notification. All right, we'll continue now.
Make it correct. Some of those were there was an Ahsoka and there was a Boba Fett and there were a couple of other figures that there was a
Ahsoka.
What's her name? Bo-Katan, that were custom Bo-Katan figures. And so because they weren't I couldn't identify them as what custom figure company they came from. We weren't going to be able to sell them. So they would have gone back to Brian. And so that number that originally started as 200,000 starts coming down as you go through the details of it. Mm-hmm. So, and then you just kind of start coming down from there. So yeah, that number.
And I know she's been frustrated.
I rambled and went off on my brain.
I mean, I think it's good for folks to understand that was a process. And I know she's been frustrated because Reckless Ben has pushed the 200,000 number.
It doesn't make me frustrated.
Not wrong that he's done so. That's what he heard, right? Mm-hmm. But folks who are collectors understand with a collection that large, it takes time to evaluate.
Yeah.
So the preliminary number was 200,000. Reckless Ben's not wrong to be saying this is what this cost.
Right.
Was that.
That's the other thing too. When you're doing toys and you're just looking at when you don't have the time to actually like specifically look at one thing. If somebody, because I've had that happen before too, where I've been at conventions and I've had people bring me a bunch of stuff, and you have to kind of do like kind of a quick appraisal of it. Like they'll say, "Hey, I got this stuff. I mean, I don't want it, and I'm just trying to see if there's anybody here that will purchase it." Because that's the thing. Sometimes it's rare, that. Now, I haven't run into that too much, but there are people that take stuff to conventions in the hopes of maybe getting somebody to buy it off them.
Yeah.
It's happened a handful of times where I have done that before. But yeah, you got to give like kind of like a quick appraisal of what they have. So it's you're not always going to get it right. Like, so she was probably in that sense. She just saw a lot of stuff and she was just kind of like, she just probably gave a rough estimate based on what she was just seeing, the overall totality of everything she was seeing.
Right.
It's hard to be specific when, if you're not, unless you're like going to sit there and actually price the stuff out, one by one. So she probably just did she did an overall guesstimate of what the stuff was. So, hey, no problem. No problem. Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to make sure that there's going to be accountability for these people. We're gonna keep covering this till there is. So,
of course.
Not yet, but that's something we'll eventually get to that as well. That's why we wanted to get through Echo Base's network. We want to get through their interview because we've been meaning to for a while now, and so far it's been a really good interview. If you guys haven't seen it in its entirety, like if you guys want to watch it at some point in your entirety, I linked it in the chat. If you guys want to watch it with that or a commentary, but yeah, it's been a pretty interesting and revealing interview so far.
Very informative.
Yes.
Estimated to be, it was at one time, and then as she went through the process of carefully examining it, that value came down. And I think folks who have been following the story can hold those two things in their minds. They can understand that is correct. Like you start with this ballpark and then you get more specific, right? But I think there are people who treat it like a gotcha.
Well,
where they're like, "Oh, you said 200,000, and later you looked at it more carefully, and it was worth less." Yeah,
so that does happen, and over time, those prices continue to go up as well. Those Lego sets are.
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes though, prices do go down on stuff, just depending. Thank you, Tyrannosaurus Rick, for the 5. Appreciate it, buddy. I'm afraid BAM is trying to restructure to avoid the lawsuits. That would be something, right? If they manage to do that. Yeah, I've heard about that. They're trying to go from an LLC, I believe, to a corporation, which is wild.
Worth more today than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I mentioned this earlier in the interview. Brian Mansell spoke with the gentleman that does the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Yeah.
And Brian Mansell said, this is after the takeover.
Yeah.
This is Brian Mansell when he was reaching out to people for help with no hope.
Yeah.
This is before Reckless Ben got involved.
Yeah.
He goes to Collecting Weekly. Collecting Weekly got involved on their behalf, was pretty much threatened with by BAM Corporate.
Yeah.
They were threatened to be sued and to shut it down. But Brian apparently told the host of that show that if BAM Salem sells everything that they have that belonged to my father, then they owe me $100,000, and that's with the consignment agreement.
Okay.
So if you look at those percentages, that makes that collection worth $150,000+.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is, can you speak on what you say the overall valuation is? Like CoffeeZilla said, 107,000. If Brian was right, and I assume that he was, then we're talking about tens of thousands of more dollars than what the internet has basically accepted as fact.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you go by the numbers that I have inventory, right? It's about 83,000 for the sets and about 30,000 for the minifigures that I had inventoried. So that gets you at what, 110,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have to factor in that I had and I think somebody, I haven't looked at it yet. There was a tote of minifigures that most of them were duplicates that I hadn't gotten around to actually adding into the inventory.
They were in freezer bags, right? We've heard about these.
No.
Okay.
Let's circle back to that. So they were still in the tiny little minifig bags that Ed had put them in. And on each of those, he'd had a little sticker. He'd identified it and wrote the cost down on it. So, I mean, it was a tote. It was about this big. And I returned that. I never inventoried those. So they never made it onto my spreadsheet. I returned that to Brian. And then from what I understand, those were part of what he sold to M&R. I don't know off the top of my head what M&R ended up buying those for. But those would have been included in whatever.
And M&R was that YouTube channel, I believe, that bought a good amount of stuff from Brian as well. If I'm not mistaken. They were in Coffee's, the one CoffeeZilla mentioned in his video, the YouTuber that he mentioned in his video.
For that value then would have been.
And he got one of the Cloud City sets back as well.
Yeah,
right?
and the Cloud City, that was also one. There were 13 sets that I still had at my house that I had taken to a convention. And so they had ended up in the tote with the bricks and minifigs stuff, tote of stuff that we took to conventions. And as we were packing up and getting ready to move, 13 sets in that tub of minifigures, we returned to Brian.
And that's another thing. I mean, it's another illustration of the way they try and muddy the waters.
Yeah.
So they then they were hiding sets in their garage.
Yeah.
Sets we took to a convention, we gave them all back to him. We didn't take any of his sets.
And then there were some sets that were duplicates of the ones that we had in the store already. So Brian still had those in his storage. And that was okay, I sold the last of this one. Brian, can you bring that one? And then we would add it to the inventory. Or there was also a huge, a big moving box full of microfighters and battle packs. And we had so many that Brian just kept that one in his storage, and those never made it into the inventory. So my understanding is those are the ones that ended up going to getting sold to M&R.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's important for folks to understand that kind of discrepancy.
Yeah.
There were things that we are counting as these are things that would have been part of the consignment because they would have been had we sold everything and then gotten even more from his storage. Yeah. So when people give that high number, we were including that, but we didn't even get those into the inventory, which is why the inventory number is going to be lower because we were not able to even get those on the shelves in time.
Well, and
Gotcha.
I think what you're talking about.
And that's a good clarification on that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't have the number. I'm sure somewhere there are the numbers of what M&R, what he purchased all those for. Somebody could probably separate out the minifigures.
Hey, what's up, Ruby?
And that would give you close to the value of the collection that we had, right? Outside of the 100 and what did I say, 20,000? Yeah, the 82 plus 30. But then I think so. When you mentioned freezer bags, I'm guessing what you're talking about asking is Sheldon's statement of freezer bags, which I will clarify about that. So part of what Ed had was he would just kind of gather random minifigure parts if he thought they might be valuable or if he thought they were cool. And so there were sandwich bags full of guns or pauldrons or a bunch of capes, hair pieces, random helmets, legs.
He was a collector.
So accessories,
right? And so there were probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 like sandwich bags full of just parts, just which inherently in themselves, outside of like the weapons, they don't really have a value
unless you can find that's the Leia hair and I've got the Leia.
Exactly.
Right?
Unless, like, if I have a torso, it essentially doesn't have a value if I don't also have the head and the hair and the feet, right? The legs. And so, but also some of those minifigures were like mismatched, right? And so we were going through and using those bags, or like, here's a figure, here's a Rex, but it doesn't have the pauldron. Or here's this figure, but it doesn't have a cape, or here's a Vader, but yeah. And so we were using those bags to go through and see what we could complete as far as the figures. So those were not inventoried. There was no way I was going to go through and count every individual gun. Right.
Yeah.
Or
That'd be a fool's errand.
The little plastic piece
Fool's
that
errand.
goes into the trooper's helmet, the
visor.
It's not the visor. Well, there were a ton of the visors. But
The little antenna that he's got on his head. helmet? Yeah.
No,
Okay, yeah.
The old style ones it was almost shaped like a missile almost. Like it was the tiny little rounded. Now I'm forgetting what it's called.
I don't remember.
But just
somebody
a ton of
somebody
those.
watching this is screaming because
Right?
they know.
Somebody's
They're like yelling at their YouTube.
Yeah.
They're like, don't you know it's called a.
It was like a different kind. It was the old style because it was the old gray, right?
Right.
All those various random parts. So we were using those to go through and try to complete the figures as I was going through the inventory. Eventually, those would have been like purchased. The store would have paid Brian for those, and we would have purchased them at what we call a premium bulk rate, which is essentially like that's what when we would have people come in and do trades, things like trees and leafy pieces and stuff like that, ladders and ropes. And
the more
like
valuable bulk.
Exactly. And so probably like it's hard to say without actually like having those bags in front of me, but from like the best that I can remember, it would have added anywhere from like $200 to $500 onto the value of the collection. But also there was no way I was going through and inventory counting up every single gun.
That would have taken way too long.
If people are, and it's possible that Sheldon is confusing what was in those freezer bags and what was still in the tiny mini bags, which were individual
and
minifigs that were complete. Those were valuable. Like in that tub I returned to Brian, I had gone through and separated out, like, here's the first trilogy figures, here's the second, here's the third, to kind of try to go through so that I could at least keep them somewhat organized. We needed to inventory. And then I would go through and pull them out, or somebody would come in and go, do you have this figure? Hold on, let me check the tote. And if we had it and sold it, I would go through and add it to the inventory real quick and then mark it as sold. Because there were just so many different figures.
Right.
Our dog really wants to.
They're so little too. That'd be such a pain in the ass, right? Sit there. They're like this
I'm getting
big.
Anxiety listening to this.
Yeah, it's just like I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna break it. I wouldn't even want to hold them, man, because it's just
right? I'm like,
they seem like they can get lost so easily. To have to sit there and just inventory
drop
each
the
and every
bag,
single one of those.
bursts open, like fuck.
Yeah, that'd be freaking wild, man.
In the video, but he's hidden by
sorry guys.
little Chiron there.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
What's
people
up,
should know.
Yeah, sorry, I had to answer a phone call. There was a possible job.
Oh, that's
especially
that's
after what happened today.
No, that's great. That's great, bro. That's great news, man.
Yeah, Aura.
Awesome.
Oh, I didn't even tell Aura. Yeah, Aura. I lost my job today, so that's been fun.
Oh man,
Yeah.
It's all good though.
Good news.
Like,
good news.
For those of you,
we'll see.
All right. Hell yeah.
For those of you that ain't subbed to the Last Relic, go sub to his channel. Show the man some support. Show him some love.
Yeah, it's been a weird week this week.
Yeah, he had a rough day today, but he came on tonight because he's a trooper, and and we appreciate him for that.
Yeah, life goes on. Ain't nobody stopping for me, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna try to help him out as best we can. But if you guys haven't subbed to his channel, I'm gonna put it here in the.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it. What did I miss? What did I miss on Ben and Chris?
Not too much. So they're talking about like inventorying
Yeah.
I was going to ask you real quick: is one of the reasons that you never did consignments and everything like that because you didn't want to mess with the inventory to do so?
No, because I think consignments is retarded.
Oh, okay.
It's like I totally understand why you would do a consignment. I just always want to be very, very secure. So if I couldn't, like, my mindset was, if I don't have the money to buy it, it shouldn't be in my store. That's me.
Right.
That makes
So
sense.
and again, it's my opinion, and I'm not saying it was a bad move for Chrystal because it was working for her. I think just by frustration that I have somebody else's product in my store and anybody could break in while I'm sleeping.
With liability. Yeah.
Like the liability would freak me out way more.
Yeah.
She is way more I guess like mentally strong than I would be doing a consignment. But like I just rather everything in my store, I own it. I already bought it. I already get the receipts and everything.
So if there's a loss, it's going to be your loss, and you don't have to worry about it. Dragging somebody else
it's all
down
on
with
me.
you.
I'm cool with that. Like,
that makes sense.
Like it is like consignment is a great business practice to make sure that like you don't have to spend any money to make money with consignment. You just have it in there, right?
Yep.
So if it sells, like boom, you. And the other thing is like BAM must have known about the consignment because they also get royalties off that consignment. So even though they're getting 35%, they're either reporting that in some way for BAM to understand, or BAM is waiving those royalty fees. So I would like to also know if they waived royalty fees on the consignment sets, because they said that they had all these royalty fees that the Gormans didn't pay. They claimed that in the termination letter, right?
Yeah.
And I think Chrystal did address that at some point, but I have no idea. Like, I can't remember exactly what she said, so I don't want to paraphrase anything. Gotcha. But that is something that I'm actually curious about. Of like, they had an agreement like to not pay any royalties off the consigned sets, or if they were aware that they were only getting that percentage. Because when you sell something and you only made 35%, so you let them know that you sold a product for $100, but you only got $35 out of it. So then you only pay the royalty fee off that $35, or that's what should be happening on a consignment deal.
Yeah.
Makes
sense. Random consumer says, sorry to hear about the job loss. I hope it wasn't because you're speaking out.
No, it's more so like there was some BS, but I'm also not the best employee. I work way too hard, and people feel not only threatened by that, but like I got a lot of ideas, and I'm not. This is one of the reasons why I loved running my own business, is because I answer to me.
Oh,
so
yeah.
And it's not like I'm disrespectful or anything like that, but I could see if their reason was I suck as an employee, I'd be okay with that. But there was some BS. It's the restaurant business, man. Like, if you got certain types of leaders that feel threatened by somebody who's competent, then it's just gonna be a crappy time for you. Were you
also an outspoken person on optimizing efficiency?
Yes.
Yeah. I could tell.
That'll do it.
There was one thing that was like, like because of the way you set the plates and the cups, like we take an extra 3 to 5 seconds per table, and that accumulates this amount per day that we're wasting time. So like we're statistically like we're gonna have at least 3 complaints per day of people not getting food in time. And they were like, where the hell did you get that kind of math? I'm like, the brain. This thing right here.
In the brain.
The thing I use between my ears.
My computer.
I don't know if you got
my head.
Yeah.
My computer is right here.
Your brain on drugs.
Man. Is that you're quoting Don't Be a Menace, aren't you? Or is that Scary Movie?
Scary Movie, yeah. You
Scary
got me.
movie,
Oh, Scary Movie. Okay.
Scary Movie too. Scary Movie too. Specifically.
Oh, somebody that's Office Space, isn't it? He only had 15 pieces of flair. That's Office Space, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It's a funny movie too.
Yeah. No, it was, and that's part of why Brian brought that collection to me, right? Because it was massive amount of work.
Kevin
had he gone on, eBay and tried to sell it all as one,
would have taken years.
Would have taken forever.
Well, even if he sold it all as one bulk lot,
he would have gotten ripped off.
How do you even know how to price something like that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he would have lost out a lot of money.
Right? Like I could have done that. The store could have gone, okay, I've now got all the sets inventoried and I know what the value is and I can put them all together and sell them all on eBay as one. But the liability of doing that, like shipping that out and then having somebody go, well, I want a refund and I'm going to send them back to you, but they're all going to be open and missing the
So actually, I want to address something Rubate put here. It's interesting, right? Because it feels like it's definitely structured, or at least, again, this is just my opinion. It definitely feels like it's structured in such a way that would obviously, of course, benefit corporate the most, and how to, kind of pull the rug out from under somebody. If the need arises, right? So I again, that's just my opinion.
No, when I was going through my franchise agreement, again, my perspective is slightly different because they had a 350-page franchise agreement and I had 85, and 10 of those were irrelevant because it was about different states or table of contents or whatever.
Yeah.
But their entire franchise agreement is to protect themselves.
Yeah.
It's not even to really go after. It's oh, you sneeze wrong, we could terminate you. It sucks completely, but in my case, I was there's so much vague language or vague stuff around it that I felt pretty protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not go through what they went through in terms of 350 pages. I don't know exactly what's in their franchise agreement.
See, the thing is too, is though the vague language is kind of a way that companies get away with kind of enforcing rules that may not make sense with impunity sometimes, because we've seen it before with like platforms, right? A good example is YouTube or Twitch or some of these other, social media platforms. They'll have very vague language in their terms of service so that they could kind of enforce more or less when they feel like, in a sense, if they feel like, well, you violated this. Well, this doesn't say exactly, what is it exactly that you're saying I violated here, because this is kind of vague here and you haven't given me a reason. It's you just did. They'll just be you just did. You just violated.
And that's why they don't want you getting a lawyer, because that's the other reason, right? They know how they're open. You know what I mean? So that vagueness, they're going to utilize it, but then they know you can utilize it as well.
Yes.
And that comment you just put there, so anybody could go in. You could go into any church, even during the weekend, depending on the hours, talk to the missionaries of the LDS church, and if the church is big enough, they have a data center. You could do family history. You don't have to be a member or anything. It's free for the public. So that's if you want to trace back your lineage and things like that. I think they got the biggest database.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting. Yeah.
It's because it's off the Bible of baptisms for the dead, and things like that. You can look back at your lineage because books of Genesis and all that stuff. So yeah, so anybody, if they want to utilize it for the McNaps or themselves, you can go in and for whatever reason you want.
Wow, it's good to know. Yeah. Maybe next time, if I go to Utah again in the future, maybe I'll step into an LDS church and.
There's one right where you live, dude.
Where I'm at?
Yeah.
There's
so 10.
Maybe I should do that. I'm not too familiar. Maybe we should do that, or maybe we should take a trip and do that. Yeah, on one of our days off. But yeah. So it's around all LDS churches. So it's not exclusively a Utah thing. Is what you're saying?
No. It's anywhere really. But the church.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So what we have is called stake centers. Those are the really big chapels, just because the community might be really big in that area, and sometimes they'll have a data center, right? One of the ones I go to, they have like a data center, but not every chapel has it. You know.
Okay.
So like you'd have to find, but usually every stake might have one. So like you could call them and be like, hey, when do you have this going on? And they'll tell you when it's open, because it's since everybody is just like a volunteer, it's kind of on whoever has the calling to open the church at their time, at their convenience, you know. But they usually it's more organized, like 7 o'clock on a Tuesday or something.
We might have to do that, or on one of our days off.
That's fine. I'm down.
Yeah, just to see.
And the database is online if you want to use it. You could use it at your own house.
Oh, okay. Even better.
You take on when you try to sell something online like that was just, you know, that's part of the reason why
for folks to know we did not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Just the sheer volume of work trying to get them all inventoried, because people are like, she had them for a year and a half. How come she didn't finish inventorying? I'm like, because also I was taking in buys from customers coming in every day and trying to get those and sorting bulk and building and
running a business.
Right.
It was a lot.
So
I did the best I could.
Speaking of running that business, on June 29th, BAM Corporate released a PR statement through Business Wire.
Okay.
And I want to key in on this highlighted part right here.
Ben, can we
expand? Let me make this.
I can make it a little bigger as well.
Is this what CoffeeZilla said too, right?
So when we did CoffeeZilla's video, I didn't know that we could expand the recording screen itself.
Right.
Okay. Pause right here. Good. Go ahead, Relic.
Oh no, so like actually I was just pointing out, like I think this was part of CoffeeZilla's video where they said the 61,000 and how much the Gormans actually paid Brian and all that.
Yeah.
That
did come up in that.
Yeah. I was just asking.
Yeah, one of the inconsistencies that they've had as well. Yeah, that Bricks and Minifigs has had.
To the full screen, so when you see me there, like trying to like strain to see me,
right.
I'm trying.
Oh, you're looking at a little tiny window.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we did. I think it was when we
did.
Yep,
so it's changing.
It wasn't until we did the Psychwalker Studios when they were trying to go when we were doing the minifigures.
Yes.
That I was like, I can't see that figure, and then we finally figured out that you can actually maximize the screen.
Right.
now we can read what you've got.
Now
yep. So it says, yeah, for real. I'm glad you could see it. So Bricks and Minifigs investigation found documentation estimating the realistic highest retail value at approximately $95,000 to $100,000. That estimate seems to align with what Brian Mansell's public statements were on April 29th, 2025 Collecting Weekly podcast. And then right here,
Yeah.
we want to ask you about this. When the new owners, Brandon Best and Josh Johnson, took over the Salem location, they discovered in the store only a small number of Star Wars products with an estimated at-cost value between $2,000 and $5,000.
Ridiculous.
Okay. So
in this, because remember that changed. Yep. That number changed.
Like 3
They try to lowball it. Because then it went from this, I think it went up to like $15,000. He said, well, it was probably actually closer to 15,000. And it's just like, obviously, they keep changing the number. There's no reason to believe that any number they give is going to be accurate or, truthful.
In this PR statement, they said, look, we're trying to make Mr. Mansell whole. We're going to give him all the Star Wars sets in the store. But they're saying there's only $2,000 to $5,000 worth when they took over.
That's not what they're saying, though.
All right. Clarify that.
At cost.
But even then, that 2005 to 2005.
So, but the thing is that's consignment. That didn't cost anything.
So what they're saying, my understanding from that statement, from reading that statement, is they're claiming there was only $2,000 to $5,000 at cost of Star Wars inventory in the entire store.
Exactly.
That's not just the consignment. That is Star Wars inventory in the entire store.
Because we had other Star Wars inventory.
That is all the used sets. That is all the new in box sets.
So how wrong is that statement, Chris?
By thousands.
We have a video of our minifigure case, the Star Wars case. The Star Wars case in the store was the biggest minifigure case for a reason, because it was the most popular. You go buy new in box at cost, a $2,000 to $5,000. If you're purchasing it at cost, I would spend $2,000 buying a case of 2 or 3 Star Wars sets. So you're looking at maybe 9 sets, 9 to 12 new in box current sets.
In other words, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
That is totally crazy.
It is.
And the thing that this is what gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm stepping back here, getting a little broader, right? This was an opportunity that BAM missed. Yeah. They could just have seen and said, hey, Brandon Best and Josh Johnson clearly lied to us. They said there was $2,000 to $5,000. Then we saw the Gorman's video. There's clearly 10 times that in the store. We were deceived by these.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about here before too, and Relic has brought it up as well, is that we were of the belief that Josh and Brandon very well could have lied, to Eamon and Matt, right?
Yeah, I would believe that. But here's also the other thing, like in contracts, in a lot of franchise contracts, like especially people who didn't negotiate, just going off of what they said, like they try to buy back sets at cost. Like in a lot of people's contract is like, oh, if you sell the store back to corporate, they will give you what you bought for them at cost, right? Mm-hmm. My agreement I negotiated is that they have to buy it back 10% off its current retail value, even if it's retired. So funny enough, like the profit range to BAM's mind is anywhere between 10 to 20%.
Yeah. And
I believe it was around $210,000 of inventory in my store after I sold like $60,000 of inventory like the month previous. And they that number, the $70,000 fine and all that, equaled around $170,000, which would be the number at cost from 210, minusing anywhere from 10 to 20%. So yeah, they have some interesting math that they do to try to screw over people, but yeah. What were you saying, John?
No, I was just saying, that it's something we had talked about before. You had mentioned it before. Kevin says, but in body cam with police, I'm really sure Josh told police something about that he was offered the store for what inventory he could recover.
Yeah, but like if you're the one recovering the inventory and you're a douchebag scumlord, like you're going to say like, oh, there's only $10,000 of inventory.
Yeah, you're gonna lowball.
And they're not doing they're not doing their due diligence to go in and take over that store.
Yep.
And if it's their friend, if like Josh is Ammon's friend, you don't think he's gonna be like, oh yeah, just buy it for whatever. We're getting this store for free. Like just give me like $20,000, brother, and then go run this store and make it $1 million store.
Yeah. Well, I just had to think about this, right? You see those
allegedly.
You think about it like this, right? And again, theory. I don't know this. I don't know this for a fact. Just a theory, just speculation, just my opinion based on what's out there. If you think about the high-end sets that were in the back, right? They were in the back room.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I've said this ad nauseum, but I'm going to say it again for people that may have not heard me talk about this before. I'm of the belief that when Josh, when he seized the store that night, he took probably a lot of the higher end sets that were in the back, put them in the U-Haul, and took them to the Eugene store. And if you think about it, you deduct the price of those sets from the inventory list that they end up giving Matt. It kind of falls in line with why Matt in the CoffeeZilla interview couldn't account for some of those set numbers that they were looking up on the inventory sheet that Matt had. He said, well, I'm not seeing that one there, right? I'm not seeing it here. And those were sets. The pictures that CoffeeZilla was showing him were sets that were allegedly, even though we know that the pictures are they have the metadata with the timestamp on them, so they were there. But
go ahead.
But just for the sake of covering my ass here, right? They were allegedly in the back, right? And I have no reason to believe that they weren't. But if you think about this too. Consider this, because this is something that and Chrystal said I could mention this because I did ask her about this. She said that the back, right? The stuff that was locked in the back, right? Those cases that were in the back that had Brandon's, or not Brandon's, but had had some of Brian's Legos, right? Where it would normally be locked up in the back. Those were open. Those cases were opened the night that Josh sees the store. They were open.
And I want to point out something, because Animal asked it in the chat, and somebody else said about from headquarters being able to see. It was Kevin, I believe, the POS system. Yeah, they knew, but not everything. So Animal says Relic BAMF can see a store's inventory at all times from headquarters? ?
Yep.
Yes and no. It depends. Like used sets, minifigures. That all depends. Like those stuff, some stores do not put it in their inventory. They won't, or put it in their POS system. They won't know how many minifigs are in a store. They won't know how many used sets are in the store, because you get trades in every day, right? Yep. So that's technically those are yours at all times at your own peril, right? Yep. And that's why you send somebody out to do an inventory list. And just like theft is a real thing. If somebody steals from the store, which is another reason why they were able to utilize this lies, because Benjamin and Chrystal's store, that store had a lot of theft. Like, they would shatter the entire windows, go in, people with masks and everything, and put the sets in their, which I will make a video on soon, because I have their footage of the security cameras, people stealing the sets. Yeah, and it's nothing crazy, but like you could find it easily on the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like when somebody goes in and doing an inventory, you know, who knows? Maybe the entire store was stolen, and the inventory on the POS system is wrong. So Brandon's inventory is correct. That's a possibility. So regardless of what they could see in their POS system, they're waiting for the report back from the official dude to be like, yeah, there was only like $10,000 of inventory in the store or whatever.
Yep. The dude who has honestly every incentive to not be honest about what's actually there. Just saying. You know what I mean? If you think about it from the perspective of, you know, maximizing, profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and saving money or maximizing profit, whichever way you want to look at it, right?
Yeah. And Chrystal and I, like, we haven't talked about the actual trade in value, but I made a point, and Chrystal agreed. I never gave under 50% of a collector's item's value. Like, I would always take in, like, I always said I need a profit of 35%. But if they were giving me things that I couldn't identify or it was too dirty, I'm like, I would tell them, you're taking a huge loss because I have to provide labor on this stuff. Like, if it's worth $100 and I have to clean it from like dust and baby powder or whatever else you put on it, then that goes into labor. I have to calculate that, and I'm gonna give you like $10. But if you take it home, clean it up, bring it here, I will give you the 35% off of the value. So I'll give you 65% of what it's worth. And then sometimes we negotiate. But yeah, like other stores, like I don't know if you saw Luce's stream, he like called other stores. And they're like, oh, we only give like for a new unbox 10 to 20% of its value, which is insane. And then 35%.
The fuck, they think they're GameStop and shit.
Yeah, dude, it's like, are you guys
fucking
stupid?
GameStop. Yeah.
Do you not like that is freaking.
That's how you get people to not come back.
Yeah, that's extremely dishonest.
Yeah, that's how you get people to not come back. It's like, look, it's already bad enough. Like, see, and that's why, like, I never did that, right? Like,
yeah.
I never, if I bought a video game, I'm keeping it. Or I'm going to sell it myself. I would never go back to the store that I bought it from to get in any kind of trading value or credit, because it's not worth it. It's never been worth it when it's a corporation that's running those kind of chains and stuff. They're only going to give you, you're lucky if you get 20%, right? But they're usually it's about 15% is what they give you. some places might be a little bit more generous and give you up to 20, but it's usually the standard is about 15% or lower. Mm-hmm. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to do it.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
And by the way, like the reason why the 200,000 number is such an important number, even if it's inaccurate, every store so far that we've heard Josh and Brandon taking over always had inventory above 200,000.
Yeah. There you go.
Every single one.
Yep. Pattern. So, Tyrannosaurus Rick, thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate it, brother. We have to understand that the McNutts do not care if this business goes broke. They have been churning businesses for decades. It seems like that, right? I mean, I can't, I'd have to look into more of their other businesses that they've dealt with. But I mean, look, from the little examples that we've seen in regards to the bricks and minifigs, it kind of seems that way, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Rubate. We would never know about any of this, but you all, it was very, yeah. They're not gonna. That's the thing. It's just like even if they quote unquote parted ways with Brandon and Josh, right? I'm sure that there's going to be accountability coming their way one way or the other. I don't think it's something that they could escape. I mean, like I said, we've said before that Brandon's being smart by staying quiet. Yeah. That's probably the best thing for him to do. But I don't think he's going to escape any kind of lawsuit just because he decided. Yeah, just because he decided to stay quiet, I don't think he's going to escape any kind of.
His name is kind of all over it, whether he likes it or not.
Again, with the inventories, I saw John Dickens' comment with third parties, and that's something I constantly keep pointing out because I think it's really important. The reason why there haven't been any third parties is because you handle things in-house first. You do your inventory, and then if you're actually selling the store, they do their inventory, and if it matches or you guys agree that it's correct, then you just make the sale. That happens, right? Yeah. But corporate has never once provided the inventory. They've never provided it to me. They never provided it to the Gormans. So therefore, there's nothing to dispute yet until they show it. And then if they show it and you don't agree, then you could get a third party to go and check it out. But
and I have to look into, and it'll be interesting to see. I can't speak on the plastic pallets case, but I'm wondering if it's the same with that case too. If there's what other similarities we're gonna find to use, because again, even with the Messers is the one that's different because of how that one played out. But it really makes you wonder what would have happened with the Messers had the Messers not been the ones to kind of get the drop on them first.
Yeah. So but the pallet one, she also claimed that she never got an inventory list. So nothing about the furniture, nothing about the sets, nothing.
Oh, so there you go. So
she did her inventory, and they never did. They never gave it to her.
So there is, that again, we see the same pattern then with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Squid Spaghetti, thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate the support. Relic, have you ever explained if/how corporate trains on how to appraise Lego sets /minifigs?
I don't think I ever did. Do you guys want me to explain that right now? I don't want to derail the stream.
Well, let me take this one real quick, and then I guess you could explain. Let me take this question real quick, though. Ben K. Roberts, thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate it. This is BB. JJ and the McNiffs we are talking about. Does anyone think they would actually offer anything other than GameStop level prices? I mean, that's a good point. Yeah,
good point.
You're right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tyrannosaurus Rick, for the 5. I've pondered this, and it seems that the more we find out about the McNuts family and business practices, the more it seems Rico applies here.
Yeah,
maybe.
It does seem like that.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah, but do you want to explain this here though?
Okay.
How corporate trains appraise,
Luckily, I was there when it was less organized, and I was there when it was more organized. So I'll give you like all the training that they've done so far. When we went there, they would teach us the POS system, and then usually, hopefully, if you had the same set already, you can look it up just in your POS system. Or the retail price. Awesome. Then you can either utilize Bricklink and eBay and try to avoid using eBay because people can inflate the prices. There's the fees that you don't account for. all that stuff. But you could get a nice average. Bricklink was the go-to. It's what was sold in the last 6 months. And then their training was like you offer freaking scraps. But I was like, I'm not about that. I'm not gonna screw over the community that buys Lego to get their Lego and then never see them again. Like, I want repeat customers. That's insane. So they never really they were always vague about it, but they're like, hey, you could get like 60% profit on trade-ins on used sets. Like, where the money is the bulk. It's the used stuff. And I'm like, that's true, but we don't have to ruin people over like a few bricks of Legos. And then by like the last few months the last few months that I was there, they implemented a new system in Heartland, in the POS Heartland, where they kind of took a data and accumulated from everywhere, which is also stupid because the prices are different in every state, or certain sets are only sold in specific locations, whatever. It's really, really dumb. Especially Bricklink official Lego sets. That's a whole nother thing. But they started getting this database where like it already calculated it for you, and it told them like this is what you have to offer, and it was usually only 35% or less of its current value. So they were offering freaking nothing. To their community. So it's like that, and I think that's also why most stores are under $500,000 in sales. You know? Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because you can be profitable at 250, 300,000. That's not a problem, but it's like you're not working your butt off for a store to only have that much money, you know?
Yeah.
So real quick to add on what you said, because it's funny that you mentioned the eBay thing, because actually Chrystal mentioned that earlier when they were talking about praising Brian's collection, and I agreed with that too, because back in the day, like when eBay was first starting, you could use it. Dude. Yeah, you could use it to more accurately appraise prices, but you also got to remember that there was price guides. There was literal price guides, that were being made for toys and toy collectors. So you could get a toy guide to kind of give you the way people would appraise stuff before would be like that, or go to obviously shops, things like that. But
they also sell price guides and shit like that as guidelines.
Yeah. They did. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's how people would generally appraise stuff back then. Novice, how if they weren't collectors, that was kind of the novice way to do it, is to get a price guide, so where you literally look up.
Could also use those things in self-defense, bro. Like those chips, like thicker than a Captain America shield.
Thick, yeah. So, but in the early days of eBay, which is in the late 90s, it was like 98, 99. You could kind of since eBay didn't charge as much for listing stuff back then as they do now. Obviously, there was a more accurate appraisal price that you can get, obviously based on the time period too, because it was, that's more than 20 years ago, right? So you could get more of an idea of how much something was worth, because usually people were more fair about selling stuff because they weren't paying a bunch of fees. Now it's not as accurate. Now when you look at eBay, you could kind of get a general idea still, because there's still some sellers that are obviously selling at retail price, right? Which is crazy. But the thing is, but a lot of times, if they're secondary market sellers, they're probably not selling at retail price. They have to sell over because they have to make back the percentage that they're going to pay in fees plus some kind of profit. Yep. So they have to inflate the price in order to make any kind of profit.
Unfortunately, eBay has become kind of like a convention online.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. So you'll get an idea, but what you have to keep in mind when you look at prices on eBay, or if people are going to use eBay to appraise stuff, you have to deduct probably about 20% of what you see as the price there, plus whatever they're looking to make as profit. So that could be anywhere from another 20 to 30%. So it just depends on each individual seller. So it's a little bit harder to gauge, but that's kind of what you have to keep in mind if you're going to try to appraise something on eBay.
Yeah, and with the consignment, like that, the tricky thing is that at the end of the year, like they could have even made more money because prices always increase for Christmas time, right?
Yes.
Doesn't matter the value at that point.
Yep.
And the other important thing to note, why the timing is so convenient or weird, is that Chrystal did say, and like I'm not sure the exact word she used, but their consignment agreement was ending in December, or
January,
something like that.
What she said, January. It was going to be so in a couple months. It was going to be ending.
So
anyways.
so it's like so you got in right before that was going to be done.
Yeah, that's interesting. Again, yeah, that's interesting timing, right?
Yeah,
that a couple months before it was going to be over, they seized the store.
Yeah.
So, Rube, thank you for the 2. Appreciate it. The McNeffs are Godfather light. Yeah, that might almost be a compliment to them. So, I don't think
careful.
Careful. You might want to be careful with that. Yeah. Yeah, at least the Corleones were smart. The Corleones were smart. So
it's a different game, dude.
Yeah,
guys, and instead they chose to go double down. Brandon Best and Josh Johnson must be telling the truth. We're going to keep repeating this number that anybody can look at the video and go, that is clearly not the case.
Right.
So this is probably something that you would know, right?
Yeah, all of them. It's all negotiable. But here's the funny thing. I didn't know this was a problem. Apparently, throughout the entire franchise world, most people do not negotiate their contract.
Yes.
Any contract is always negotiable. You didn't sign anything. You could tell your lawyer to be like, hey, no, take this out. I don't like that. Put this in. I prefer that. And you just come to the table. If you can't come to an agreement, you just don't sign it. It's pretty simple. Any contract in the world is negotiable. Allegedly.
I don't know why they keep going back to that. What is their relationship with the? I'm speculating here, but what is their relationship with Brandon Best and Josh Johnson that they won't just acknowledge? If those guys told you $2,000 to $5,000, they lied to you.
Well, and they're also, we have Josh Johnson on police body cam footage saying,
right,
whatever you find in the store, you can buy it for. Right.
So they entrusted the person who is creating.
But the idea that there is $2,000 to $5,000 versus Star Wars inventory in that store is like it is laughable. It is utterly absurd.
Yeah.
And the pictures that we sent to CoffeeZilla, like there's no chance. Like
I mean, maybe it was $2,000 to $5,000 of what was in the store once they hauled everything out with the U-Haul truck. Maybe that's what they're referring to.
Yeah. Speculation.
See, it's funny. Yeah, but that's what I think, though. I think that's what I believe again, but could be completely wrong. I could be completely way off base. But I'm of that belief. That's what my theory is. But again, I could be completely wrong. So, folks, draw your own conclusions based on the evidence that's out there.
Yeah, and also, like, another important thing of why this case is important, it isn't just about a crappy franchise agreement. It's that they utilized loopholes and the wording in the agreement to do something nefarious. It's not that the franchise agreement just automatically sucks and it's predatory. You could say it is 100%. You could say it is, but again, they would say things over the phone, verbally to somebody. They said it to me. Yep. All this stuff is cool, and then they utilize the franchise agreement in a dishonest way. Because legal is not moral. Legal is not honest. Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's an honest thing. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's good for you.
No, exactly. That's the thing. There's so many times, like you were saying earlier, they use vague language, you're right, to cover up certain things. Right? It's all, they do it to protect themselves legally, but it doesn't mean that it's moral or that, that it's necessarily even ethical. Right?
Or it's just the right language to use
to protect
themselves.
And
then they find a way to use it in a dishonest and disgusting way, which they did.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, and that's the thing, right? When you think about the McNeff's past and the fact that they work for asset protection, again, and I'm not saying that Legally Mine necessarily did anything, super illegal. I mean, we know that Dan McNeff did some illegal stuff, right? But I'm talking about the company as a whole in the, right? If they were actually embroiled in doing anything that was super illegal. But you would think, again, based on what that company was about, right? It was basically a business asset protection firm. Obviously, you're going to learn stuff along the way, working closely with people that do that kind of stuff. You're going to learn certain things that are going to protect your business, right? Or your business prospects, your future business prospects. There's things you're going to pick up along the way, like, ooh, that could be useful in the future if I decide to do XYZ kind of business, or if I decide to do a business where I'm going to, have franchisees, right?
Yeah, and
that
again,
I could probably use that.
This is not playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
It's asking the question, like, if anybody here in the chat or anybody that watches this in the future, what language would you have in your franchise agreements for your franchisees if you were a franchisor? You would want to protect yourself. Regardless of who you are, the big difference is who is the franchisor. Ammon is a piece of human garbage. All right? So you could have the nicest franchise agreement ever, but you put Ammon in front of that, he's going to use it to F you over.
Yeah.
Like that's the big point here. Like, it isn't just like crappy things that we don't like. There's no contract in the world that you're going to like all of it. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Okay? There's going to be some that are a little better than others. Totally agree. But it's who is going to enforce these rules, these laws, right? Just like corrupt cops versus good cops. They're using the same laws. The corrupt cops are going to use it in a different way.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And we saw it with that body cam footage that we viewed for American Fork, and not just the body cam footage, again, pertaining to this case, but stuff outside of the case too. Oh, that reminds me. I had heard, and I think Punk King had actually shared this.
Running into the Kaiser officer?
No. We had gone over that on a previous stream, but we saw that Lackluster, I think, had mentioned something. He might be coming up with something new about AFPD. I know there was some kind of message. I believe Punk King had shared it. So he would have to give the specifics, but I guess there might be a future project that Lackluster is working on that's regarding AFPD as well. Something.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sounds dope on
and
a video needed.
Pertaining to one of the officers. I believe the Officer Richardson, who was one of the guys. He was one of the guys that bust open into the Thorpe's home. The guy.
Oh,
I think. Now I remember. He was. No, it was Officer Richardson. No, Officer Richardson was the one that busted in to the Thorpe's home with the other officer, but he's also the one that ended up getting arrested for abusing a minor, right?
And he was the one was he the one that was like, I just want to explain it to you?
No.
Not that one.
No, the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that Richardson?
Yeah, the Richardson was the other one. Yeah, it was teasing clearly established an AFPD officer busting in the house, maybe in jail. Not Richardson. Oh, are you sure? I thought it was Richardson because I thought Richardson was.
I thought Richardson was the guy that was talking to Sheldon or something.
I'm trying to remember. Was it? Oh, you know what?
There's so many garbage cops involved.
I misspoke. No, it was another one. It was the one that was, but I know it was one of the ones that busted into.
Kitchen was the one, not the Thorpes. The other one where
Kitchen was the other one. Hold on, you know what? Let me just look the damn shit up.
Yeah.
Let me just look it up. My bad, chat. I stand
allegedly. Allegedly.
Okay, what's his name? Bill Clinton.
Let me see.
Allegedly.
Let me see. I'm looking for it right now.
Just trying to take care of us, fool. Just trying to take care of us. He's
right
looking it up. Allegedly.
He's checking it twice. He's gonna
I'm looking it up real quick.
If he's naughty
Just
or
bear
nice.
with me. So the other officer,
allegedly,
that busted into the place, along with not the one that was like soft spoken, the one that was just like, you got to understand, I did this because
I know who you're talking about. I
reasons.
just don't remember
Yeah.
his name. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
him. It was
the
the
pussy
other one.
boy officer.
It was the other one that was with him. He got. I believe that officer got arrested for abusing a minor, which we didn't know what that was at the time. But apparently, there's rumors that it might have actually been what we initially thought. When I said he was a child enthusiast, and then I corrected myself, I was like, "Oh no, it was just he might have beaten up a kid." No, he might actually be a child enthusiast after all.
Sheesh.
Let me see if I can.
And he's in prison right now?
Blackburn. His
And
name
he's
is
in prison?
Blackburn. Officer Blackburn. Yeah, he's in prison. So my bad.
Do we know if he's still alive?
Yeah. Oh, Pumpkin just put it. Yeah, the chat. Officer Blackburn. He's in prison.
Okay.
Yeah, Richardson. Yeah, Richardson.
I know,
was
but
the
you
one-
know what happens to these fools in prison?
Yeah.
Is he currently breathing air that should
Look, they
not
all look
be-
the same. All right, they all look the
Okay.
same.
All right.
Oh, same.
Word.
I don't think we know that yet. I think Punking will probably tweet it out first. We'll find out through Punking. You know, Punking, he's like the
Punkins was
oracle
on
or
top of
something.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speculation.
But there's no
But
way.
it's speculating. Yeah. No.
Good
it-
call, Nick.
$5,000, $2,000 to $5,000 when we were pushed out the
It's
door.
absurd.
Who knows what there was by the next morning? We can't know.
It's completely and utterly absurd.
So another statement in the same PR, Bricks and Minifigs investigation also found point of sale data showing about 61,000 and potentially more may have been sold from the collection prior to November 14th, 2024. The companies believe Brian Mansell may have only received approximately 15,000 in payments over roughly a year. The record suggests a discrepancy may exist between what was sold and paid to him, which the company is still investigating. Chris, Benjamin, is that saying that you owed him $47,000 and you didn't pay him? Is that what that's saying?
So sorry, all I can hear is Frankie's music in the background.
No,
sorry, hold
there's
on.
two issues
Can
here.
you minimize and put that back up because I want to make sure
Sure.
that I'm saying the right numbers.
I'm
Sorry.
happy to.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, so they're showing. So I haven't been able to go through and do like a deep dive on the point of sales records that corporate released. Right. I haven't had a chance. I'm working.
Because we didn't have access to those for a year.
Yeah, they still haven't provided it to us. They provided it to CoffeeZilla, and then somebody else just recently sent it to me. Actually, yesterday is the first time I've actually gotten the actual point of sale data that corporate claims it is. So they're claiming they went through the system and found 61,000, right? About 61,000. So now they know how to find that. When for the last year and a half they haven't known that it was there or how to find those two inventory items.
Said.
But also like I have no way of verifying without seeing that myself whether that's all of the Star Wars that we sold between that time, right? Because there were also just like regular Star Wars minifigures that weren't part of the consignment.
And your new
those
and
tickets
your
and
other
our new
news.
in box, right? The U sets, like all of that stuff. So I haven't actually seen those, but like if they're saying, okay, so 61,000 sold between when we started and November 14th, right? And then I don't have the actual numbers of what Brian was paid outside of that, like 15,000, right? I would have to actually confirm that that's how much he got paid. I would need him to confirm or I've got to find my thing.
Right.
But I do think it's important for folks to understand, and we've mentioned this before too, that he was paid on this rolling way. Here's the amount that you're owed for the previous, 3 months? And he was due to be
the
paid.
15th of every month is when
exactly.
Right?
So, but we were operating on a 3-month grace period, right?
It was rolling.
Okay.
Because essentially, because we had the consignment 3 months from the grand reveal and the comic convention. There was about 3 months in between as I went through and inventoried it. Very little sold between those, but some stuff did sell at the convention, right? So there were also all the other details in that. If people were paying using trade, if people were paying using gift cards, right? If it was in-store credit, the royalty payments, the all of those details. So there was a 3-month, right? So prior to November 14th, there would have been 3 months worth of sales that Brian was owed already. So I don't know. I haven't gone through and actually lined up those dates to see how much of that difference between the 15,000 and the 61,000 sat in those 3 months that I would have paid in the next 3 months.
But this is
right?
a really good example of what.
But then
BAM
by
does.
January 31st, we would have paid everything except for what was still on layaway because that had that 6-month thing, and we would have. The store would have purchased the layaway items outright.
It's kind of like, and you alluded to this before. She makes him a copy of the spreadsheet. They say she was keeping multiple books. That sounds really fishy, right? No,
they had different numbers on them.
An accounting to update him. That's good business practice, right? Yeah. In the same way, in this, they say there was a large discrepancy. Yeah, there was an amount that was owed to him the next day, which we would have paid, and they took the store from us and the accounts and everything else. So they make it sound like it sounds really fishy, right? When they go, there's a big discrepancy. Yeah, there's a big responsibility financially that BAM took. Yeah, that's the discrepancy. They need to pay him.
Well, and that's
So do you think that you sold that much of his collection that he was never paid for? Like they're saying 47,000. Would you say that that's correct? Yeah. Or there's people online saying, no, they U-hauled a bunch of that stuff out of there and the Gormans were shown the door and they never got a chance to pay Brian.
I genuinely have no idea. I just got that point of sale thing yesterday. And so one of those things that I need to do is actually, it's all out of order by date. One of those things I need to do is I've created a copy of it so that I can actually go through and go by date and see what was sold November 14th back 3 months. And then I'll actually be able to have a genuine idea. And this is all predicated on the fact that those are authentic sales tickets. And they're actually tickets from they're not sales tickets from just other Star Wars stuff.
Well, and that's
so I genuinely people want an answer. I don't know. All of this stuff had corporate come in and actually done a full accounting and a reconciliation and an inventory. All of that would have been answered, right? Or
that's the
all
key
of that
thing.
would have been.
Make sure people understand. Yeah. If we don't know, it's because corporate has decided to prevent us from knowing.
And they also waited a year and a half to try to figure it out.
Right. And at some point they're going to say, well, just trust us. And I hope folks out there, people can make up their own minds. Do you trust BAM based on their behavior?
Right.
I don't.
Sure.
Right. Well,
No doubt.
BAM
No doubt.
can suck me
Brian's
sideways.
consignment would have come to an end in 2 months, right? Anything that the store owed him, any of the sets that were left, all would have been returned to him in 2 months, and that was
Never was.
Yep.
Well, and that was in the consignment agreement that corporate got out of the store's email. They knew when it would have ended. They knew.
Again, not an attorney, but I think it makes it very straightforward. Hey, BAM, regardless of what's sitting in that closed store, give him the full value of the consignment. Just pay the man. You owe him.
And at this point,
a year and a half to do an investigation.
Right, to start investigating the collection you stole and should have inventoried the next day.
Yeah. When the whole public is in an uproar about it.
Wait, can you pause?
Now it's okay, now we're going to do an investigation.
All right, good.
Here's the thing. Let's say they did pay off Brian, right? The problem is, then Benjamin and Chrystal Gorman would be completely screwed right now, because then they would, like I pointed out, how they're supposed to handle it in-house, right? Because then they're gonna say, all right, we paid off Brian, but where are the sets? Because we can't find it. Chrystal, come to the store and help us find these sets. And they're like, well, I don't know where it is. And then BAM would have gone after Chrystal and Ben.
Yep.
And then hopefully, if that did happen, they would eventually find Reckless Ben, and it would be different videos. But in hindsight, kind of with how dishonest these people were, it's almost a good thing that they didn't do this, so they could be exposed for the pieces of garbage they are.
No, I agree. It's what they get.
It's what they get. It's what you get.
You know,
Yeah.
because they're
Go
gonna be
ahead.
enforced
Por
to-
ser puto.
And speaking of, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But at this point, who knows where the Mansell
Hey, Richard
collection
Linder, how
is?
you doing?
Oh, it's
Hold on,
And
Rachel.
it's
I
probably
don't want
been
to speculate
separated.
about where it is.
we can't
And-
speculate, except the very little we know includes the fact that this former customer of yours finally did get his layaway set, which
Yeah.
means we know some of it
Walker
was
did
sold,
get it. Yeah.
right?
Well,
so it's gone out there into the world.
Brian has talked about he sent a friend of his in, like shortly after to
I think it
buy
was the
one
next
of the sets, and it still had the yellow sticker on it.
And he was able to
So there was something still there. Yep.
Well, like, it wasn't just still there. They were selling it, and they weren't keeping record of that it was Brian's.
Yeah. Well, remember what they had said, that they were doing cash transactions too, which you talked about yesterday. So they're not going to track that.
I don't know how long they did cash transactions, but I heard it was like not only weird, but it was completely irrelevant. Why would they would do cash transactions?
Let's say that they only did it for a day, but even still, you know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah, that's a whole day.
That's a whole day of sales that, you know, who knows how much they could have sold a ton of stuff. You know what I mean?
From according to like some sources, all speculation, for what I've seen is that like at the time that the store's taken over, they're only making like around 23,000 a month, 23 to 30. So, judging by that, you're looking at 300 to anywhere from 300 to 1,200 a day. That's the range of how much they were making. Obviously, it's not good, but regardless, that's $200. That's still at least 2 sets.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was
Higher
able
end
to purchase
sets.
it.
So we know they
And
were
then
selling.
there was a woman who posted an Instagram reel a couple of months later. And you can very clearly see sets that were, I can't prove that they were the same, like from the collection, but those
The same
sets were
set
rare
numbers.
enough
Right, rare
that it
sets with the same
seems
set numbers
that
were
it
still for sale.
seems, you know, it seems highly unlikely that the store would have taken in, you know, 10 or
same
20
exact
of
same
those
sets.
same sets.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So
So there's that might be some of the discrepancy too. They might be messing their dates up a little bit in that PR. Who knows?
well, and that's what I'd like to, not only, you know, I'd like to also see the sales tickets from after November 14th, right?
Right.
To when the
Yeah.
store closed down. I want to see those sales tickets. But as people have pointed out, the Salem store went cash only. You can see the sign on the door in Ben's video, went cash only. There's very few reasons why you would go cash only for more than a day.
Lot harder to track stuff when it's cash.
Yeah.
only.
Because we had a backup. You have.
So, yep, that's the thing. It doesn't give us a specific time frame, because let's say again, let's be charitable for a moment, right? And let's
Technically, November 15th.
say, right? Yeah. So let's say they forgot to take the sign down, right, when Ben decided to go in there.
Yeah.
But even still, it does make you wonder. I would assume, though, I would have to assume it had to have been more than a day. Again, you know, speculation. And if that sign was still up, obviously, yeah. I mean, you would, you know, and again, it's possible maybe they could have just forgotten after a while to just take it down. But I would think what Mama D said earlier too, I would kind of tend to agree. It'd be, you know, I doubt that they only did it for a day as well. They probably either would assume a couple days, maybe a little bit more. Maybe they wanted to get a different POS system in there, whatever it might be.
Yeah, but they're not getting a new POS system. They're using Heartland. They're still using it to this day. They have a contract with them. And here's the other thing. Here's the other theory that could be put out there. Which sets were sent to other locations? Because nobody can really talk to the other locations and when they received a set.
Yeah.
Because when I first came out with the story, somebody that was a business Bricks and Minifigs owner mentioned in my chat, you were the Lutz location. We received some sets from your location because apparently Brandon or somebody from corporate said the Lutz location wanted to help out other stores. And they took the sets from my location, shut the location down, and sent it to other people. So I don't even know if they announced to the rest of the franchisees, that, hey, this store closed down or this one's no longer operating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I would think, like, again, it seems like, again, I still stand by the fact that they were helping themselves first. Even if they send sets to their stores, it feels like, you know, you're gonna take care of yourself first, right?
Yeah.
And you had also mentioned that there was sets that you had to send to the Eugene store, which was Brandon's store.
Yeah,
that was his primary store. So, yeah.
You have your credit card reader that is that is with the POS system, but you always have a backup, right? Particularly if there's an extended outage. I can't speculate as to why, but
another thing, I believe this is public knowledge now, is if somebody purchased a set online through the Salem store,
it's in our lawsuit. Yeah,
they were redirecting those sales through the Eugene store.
Yeah,
so that means if somebody.
So again, even more. That's even more substantiation right there.
And so, have we seen the POS system or the inventory in the Eugene store?
Yeah, that's even more to me. That corroborates it even further. Like I said, I feel like that kind of strengthens the theory even more. You know what I mean? Because why else would you do that, right? I mean, it's possible there could be a reasonable explanation for it, but it's
the only reasonable explanation is like, oh, we're taking over this store. They're still connected, so in order to keep track of inventory, we have to put it in our system and redirect the sales through there. But still, all of this is super convenient.
Yes.
Cash transactions, Eugene location.
Yeah.
Opening the next day.
It seems a little too. It seems a little bit too convenient for it to just be like, well, there's a good explanation for it. Is there though?
That was his job. You know what's up.
But yeah, come on. Yeah.
One of Brian's sets from the Salem store, that sale would have gone through the Eugene store.
Yeah, if you clicked on the shop online button, actually, if you still go on the Salem website and click the shop online button, it takes you to the Eugene Shopify page.
Which is the store that Josh and Brandon own, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the U-Haul took a trip there.
Josh and Brandon have only owned that Eugene store for a couple of years. I would be really interested to find out details about
how they acquired that one too, right?
Yeah, and as far as I know, that store's still in operation today.
I believe from the last state of Oregon registration that I saw, it had been re-registered in an LLC under Matt McNeff's name with a couple other corporate employees.
With Adam Brimhall, because we went over it here on stream. It's funny because it's like it's like some kind of wildlife. I can't remember off the top of my head, but some kind of like wildlife LLC or something like that. Something bizarre. Which again, that doesn't mean that it's not still a Bricks and Minifigs store. That could just be to throw people off. You know what I mean? I guess people would have to actually visit the location to confirm and see if the store shut down and it's a completely different store or not. But last I checked, at least on Google, it seems like that store is still. Hold on, let me see. We'll look it up. Screw it. Let's look it up.
Do it live.
We'll do it live.
Do it live.
But again, also in fairness, Google doesn't always immediately update when a store is permanently shut down, right? It's kind of tricky.
No, you actually have to call them.
Yeah.
And do all that stuff.
Let's see. So, I mean, as far as Google's concerned, the store is still there. But again, it's not to say, it's not to say that it's still actually there, right? It could just be that it hasn't been updated yet, but it appears there's still a Bricks and Minifigs store there. Let me see if any of the pictures that Google provides are recent at all. No, these seem to be old. Let's go to the website, Bricks and Minifigs. For the Eugene store, the website's still up too. Bricks and Minifigs Eugene, 780 Blair Boulevard. Website's still up. Google says the store is still there, as far as I can see. So it could be corporate has taken it over it now with a new LLC that's under Matt McNeff and Adam Brimhall. But that doesn't mean that Brandon might not still be operating out of that store, right? It could be just on paper that they had to make it seem like, Brandon's gone,
Yeah.
So somebody would actually have to, I'm not saying for anybody to go and go into that store, but, it would take like that kind of confirmation to see if what's going on there. Tyrannosaurus Rick, thank you so much for the 5. Appreciate it, buddy. There are so many GoFundMes now competing for the same pool of donors. I wonder how that hurts Ben.
I don't think it does.
No, I think Ben will be fine regardless. I think Ben's going to be fine. I think because the thing is, if Ben doesn't raise the money on GoFundMe, he's actually making money now on YouTube. So I think he'll be fine with that. I think if for whatever reason, whatever is in his Give, Send, Go isn't enough, he'll be able to use money out of his own pocket, and I think he'll be fine with using money out of his own pocket too.
Yeah.
Mitch Bam Corporate is supposedly closed now. Interesting. Well, my understanding is, again, and I don't know how true this is, but Aura had mentioned it earlier that it looks like they're trying to incorporate. They're trying to change their they're basically trying to restructure the company, I believe. I don't know how true that is. I'd have to look into it to see, and we'd have to see what kind of public filings there are, because those records become public. When you do all that all becomes public.
Yeah, and I just saw somebody ask. I don't have a GoFundMe. I am not planning on suing them. I do not believe in this legal system or any legal system. Yeah. I believe the dishonest people always win if they have the most money. So, but I do believe both Ben's and Chrystal can win because of the story and how public it is. Yeah. But then again, it's still a 50-50 shot in my opinion.
Yeah, in civil suits, even if it looks like it's a slam dunk case for one side, one thing I've learned is that nothing is ever as it seems when it comes to civil suits.
In my opinion, truth is irrelevant. If you got evidence to back up your bullcrap lies, your so-called evidence, and you could prove it, then you win. It's what you could prove. It's not what you're honest about.
Well, it's what I've always said. It's not what you know or what you think you know. It's about what you do. So if that's the thing about it, and that's the thing with civil suits. Civil suits are always going to be based on the preponderance of the evidence. Yeah. So if they have evidence that that backs up whatever legal claim they're making, that could be enough to sway a judge. So.
And also, I thought about this. Like, I'm kind of happy that I'm not suing them. Not because I don't want retribution. I do, but this is the way I believe that retribution could be made, is by them being exposed and them losing in court. And if I had a lawyer right now, you guys would not see me. Yeah, like I would be so freaking silent, and I don't like being silent. So, me talking, putting my opinion out there, I think it's the best way I can help Reckless Ben, Chrystal, and everybody else out there that got screwed.
Yep. Yeah. All right, let's go.
So according to the state of Oregon's business registry, Josh and Brandon are no longer involved.
Wow.
That's usually what happens when a store is reverted back to corporate ownership. Is the LLC is then reverted back to Matt or Ammon.
So Benjamin came out with a video we talking about another store in Clackamas County. We have our friend, the Last Relic, who had his store seized and taken over by Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson in Lutz, Florida. So
booty cheeks.
There seems to be
booty butt
a bigger pattern. When you guys heard the Last Relic story about what happened to his store in Florida, how did you react to that? And does that situation seem familiar to you?
I mean, that was our immediate reaction was, wow, that sounds very familiar.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And that was my response when I read about what happened in Canby, the store that's in Clackamas County. The Canby store, their experience, I mean, there are differences, certainly, but there are a pattern of similarities, and I leave it to people to judge, but it sure looks like that's, as one commenter said, that's not a pattern, that's a business model.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
that
It seems like it.
People are alleging.
Well, in the Canby store, I don't know how much I can say about it. The Canby store I've known about for, since last year.
But we did not know that. We learned a lot from the lawsuit. Reading the lawsuit.
I'd never actually. I hadn't read
what went down.
I hadn't read the lawsuit, but I did testify in the case last year.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So, are you aware of any other BAM owners or former BAM owners with similar stories that we don't know about?
That we can talk about?
Yes.
Well, you don't have to mention their name or their location. You could literally just say, yes, I do know. There are more. There are more of us.
Yeah.
I am in conversation with 3 previous store owners.
Wow. Okay.
4, actually. Sorry, 4.
Not including what happened in Lutz, Florida, or Clackamas County.
Or California. Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
4 previous franchise owners.
All right. That's breaking right here, guys. Like that's big.
Yeah. So that's literally like 7 that we know of.
Two of whom I have agreed they do not want to be named. They do not want anything made public. They have experienced devastating financial effects from it and have filed for bankruptcy. One of them lost their house and are still trying to recover, and still in a precarious legal position.
Wow.
One of the other ones is we may hear from soon. Well, we may hear from at some point.
We're hopeful that this person will come forward.
Different person.
Oh, a different one. The other one. We're hopeful one may come forward.
Another one. Another one.
They reached out to me to ask if I could put them in contact with CoffeeZilla after they heard something on CoffeeZilla's video that they wanted to discuss.
Interesting.
And I passed along that contact information, which is really freaking surreal, by the way. Can I just take a moment to say the fact that I have a phone number saved in my phone that just says CoffeeZilla, and at one point found myself just like, hold on, I'll text him.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been
That's right.
wild.
Like, how does that even happen? I'm sorry. It's still just still just kind of blows my mind.
By the way,
weird.
Hey, let me pause it.
What's up?
I just want the chat to know, like, Chrystal and Benjamin Gorman are such nice people. They're so great. Like, they are truly, genuinely care about people. You saw, like, Chrystal, when she was just talking about the guy's situation who filed bankruptcy and stuff, she was, like, getting red, a little teary-eyed. Like, this is them. They are genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
I just think it's really important to point that out, like, how much they truly care about just other human beings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think they're genuine people too.
Yeah.
That it's so surreal. The fourth one I am fairly confident we will hear more from publicly soonish.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
it's up to the person to decide.
It's crazy to me to think that.
And this, I think, is kind of the good that came out of this too, is that it's going to embolden people. It's going to give people the confidence, to come out and be like, hey, you know what? No, I'm going to speak out too, because this is bullcrap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
like it was my whole reason, really, for when I saw other innocent people getting hurt. Like, I thought I was the only one. Yeah. And when I was, trying to put the story out there and nobody wanted, I was like, all right, whatever. It's just a piece of my life I have to live with. But then when I heard other people got screwed, I'm like, I can't sit back and just like not point out who these evil people are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's help them. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of let's strengthen what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And by the way, guys, just for listening, that already helps. So don't think like you guys can't do anything. Just by being in the chat, you are helping.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sharing things around, spreading the word,
Well, it keeps the story alive, which is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to keep the story alive, and we're trying to make sure that there's going to be accountability, like I said, by keeping the story alive. And people, they're because the thing is, eventually, look, the truth of it is eventually this will fade away.
They want it to fade away.
They want it to fade away. They want and Bricks and Minifigs wants it to fade away, but it's like, nah, man, not on my watch. I mean, I'm gonna beat the same drum until there's something that's gonna be heard.
We're not gonna forget. We're not gonna
remember. Remember what Tolkien said. Even the smallest person can make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So and that's how, like I said, I want to see these guys pay. And I mean, by these guys, I mean everybody that did wrong along the way, in some capacity or another, whether it's monetarily, whether it's somebody getting a disciplinary action, whether it's somebody having to resign from their position as the head of a company, whatever it might be. Whatever it
takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes, right? Obviously, without calling for making a call to action that would obviously be illegal. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously.
But I want to see, whether it's them losing in court, whatever it takes. So,
the people that don't want anything to come out public, they had to file bankruptcy. One lost their house. If I could speak to them, I'd be like, this is exactly why you need to come out publicly, because the public is behind people that are getting screwed over, and the public is in full support of you and could possibly help you in this situation. And for you to not come out, and again, I don't know the exact situation. There might be a specific reason why they really can't, but I hope that more people come out and let the public support them in this whole thing, because the court of public opinion right now is on y'all's side, on the people's side that's been screwed over by corporate before, and they need support.
I agree with you, but I think there's two things. So there's fear of the cost, right? And if somebody has already lost their business, potentially lost their home, and they're looking down the barrel of incredible legal expenses, like we don't know how we're going to pay our legal expenses, and we've got to go fund me.
Well, and
they're mounting so fast.
Which we do want to promote y'all's GoFundMe. It will be in the link of the description of this video, guys.
So I think that's part of it, but I think the other part of it's just trauma. It's a trauma response. It is so awful to have to deal with somebody showing up in the middle of the night and saying, "I'm taking your business, and if you tell anybody, I'm going to get you." Yeah. But some people are going, I never want to think about that.
Exactly. Get away from it completely. Never go back there in your mind. I totally get that.
I think if they they could get a lot of public support right now, but I also feel like they might just be like, I can't even revisit that trauma.
That's definitely a factor of it. It's also NDAs and additional litigation that they could face,
because when they do the termination, they pass this document to you and they say, if you don't sign this, we're going to sue you for hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever.
And just real quick, I'm sharing Chrystal's GoFundMe in the chat there for anybody that wants it. If you can't afford to support it, it's fine. Sharing it, I think, is just as good. So,
yep.
And some folks sign that, and they're going, I can't talk about how I was forced to sign this.
And this is the paper you guys refused to sign, right?
You just said, no way, we're not signing that.
There's wording in the franchise agreement, and there's wording in the termination agreement that if you exit your franchise agreement, the one that we signed was for 5 years. There are various length ones I've come to understand. But there's terminology in there that if you exit your franchise agreement for any reason before that 5 years is up, then you have to pay corporate all of the royalties that you would have paid them during that remainder. So if you operated the store for a year, then you have to pay them based on that year's sales.
All right, just real quick. Thank you, Terrestrial Rick with the 5. Relic, would you reconsider if there was a class action suit?
Well, a class action suit, I could just put my name in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's, I would if there was a class action suit, I'd be like, attach my name to it. Like that's fine, because it can't stop me from like talking. Yeah. Like, and I don't really lose anything if the inevitability of a loss. Because again, I don't believe I would win.
You would have paid in royalties.
I feel that.
Could lick my balls.
For the next 4 years, all at once. Which is why corporate keeps coming out and saying, we were $200,000 in debt. Yeah, because you want to tack on more than $100,000 in fines, right?
Yeah.
To the debt that you created, essentially.
Yeah, which you did not have. To be clear, you guys didn't have any of this before they took over, right? You didn't have any of these fines or...
So I mean, and this is all publicly available in our lawsuit. There were issues with rent being paid because they never signed over the lease to us, right? So the landlord would reach out to them, and that would not get communicated in time, and then we would get $1,000 late fee tacked on.
Yep.
Which when you...
Yep, because that's what happened with you too.
Well, like no, this didn't happen with me.
Well, not exactly like this, but the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, well, they waited till I was technically late in the December rent, and then they used that against me. So then because they said they were gonna pay. This one was, they never gave them access so that Chrystal can actually pay it on her own accord. They would always be late, and then have like $1,000, like she said, the fee tacked onto it. So all those fees, all those late fees, were actually corporates because they're retarded douchebags.
Yeah. They didn't do things the right way. Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely keep talking about the GoFundMes for sure. Hello, Good Spirit. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome.
To be here.
For a small business adds up, right? Yeah. And then we purchased the store on a promissory note, right? We paid a down payment and then monthly payments. And then the royalty fees, those royalty fees, monthly payments, what we were catching up on the rent, all that was coming out of one bank account that corporate did not. They got the notice. I got the notice and called them and said, hey, there's a notice from the bank saying the name on the bank ownership and the name on the store doesn't match, and they're going to freeze the accounts if you don't go in and deal with it. Oh. And they said, okay, we'll deal with it. And then I got calls saying, hey, your payments are bouncing because they'd frozen the bank account. And then Ben and I had to go in there in person and figure out, okay, we need to get the bank account unfroze and get Matt and Ammon's names off of the account. So meanwhile, I've got payments to vendors and rent payments and royalty payments and promissory note payments bouncing, and then fees tacked on to all of those.
And that
we're never
in the contract. They were supposed to take care of that before we took over the store.
So we've never disputed that we've never disputed that there was money owed them, right? We've never disputed that. It's right there in our lawsuit. What is also in our lawsuit is all of the money that we owed them was because of things that they had failed to do when they sold us the store, right?
So again,
so you accumulated this, but it was because of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And they had also agreed to take payments to make up for that. They were taking payments from me to make up for those missed stuff while the bank and the all of that, which is also the fact that the lease was never signed over was how they were able to get us out of the store in the first place.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't understand that. They're going, why did you just stay? We didn't have the lease.
Yeah.
And Kai even says in that recording, we still have the lease. That's weird. I don't know why that is.
We will call the police and have them trespass you.
We're gonna use that as the mechanism to get you out of your own store.
But
they would have still been forced out regardless.
Yeah, they would have been trespassed.
Yep.
The last relic still had his lease, but they just abandoned the store and left him with all the lease payments, and he owed like $500,000.
$500,000.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was a corporate location before we bought it, corporate had the lease.
Yeah, that's a right life for a nation scenario. Yeah.
Dude, I'll make a video on it. You have no idea
how did it make you feel physically? Physically, how it made you feel? How did you feel?
It felt like I broke my neck.
How did that feel physically, though?
Arousing, I guess.
I peed myself. This is the answer for everything.
But fool, I was let's see, what's the date? The 18th. It was around this time, like a week or two ago. 4 days after my third. I know I've pointed this out before, but 4 days after my third kid was born, and I'm already at 0, working at a restaurant 80 hours a week, on average, and then I get hit with that. My mind was about to explode.
I believe you. 100%. I believe you.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just on top of it, it's not something you were prepared for. You're completely blindsided.
Well, dude, I could wake up to like a fucking the bank being like, oh, you could be like $50 negative, and I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I can only imagine 500,000.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go fist fight everybody in my path.
I'm shooting up the block.
Yeah. Allegedly. Allegedly.
I didn't do it. Let the record show I did nothing.
Figuratively.
Except for look for
metaphorically. I'm gonna shoot everybody with poetry.
A lawyer.
With beautiful
I did
poetry
look for a lawyer
in their heart.
Yeah. And that's for anybody who's new in the chat. Twice I got screwed out of a lawyer. One was money. The other one was another sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just reading it right now.
It's freaking wild.
Like right before the stream, actually.
Freaking crazy.
And so they were supposed to reach out to the landlord and have the landlord approve signing the lease over to us. We signed that paperwork in our franchise agreement. They just never sent it on to the landlord. But then corporate also in that $200,000 that they're in debt, right? Their whole claim of they were $200,000 in debt and they wanted to abandon the store and flee the country, right? So you're adding on over $100,000 in fines to that and claiming it's in debt. When your termination agreement itself says, if you hand over the store, we're not going to pursue you for any of that, right? So it's also in our lawsuit that they still have that promissory note. They could call in that promissory note at any time. Part of what is in our franchise agreement is they are supposed to return that promissory note to us and have not. So our attorney is like, they could literally file that and have it and then have taken everything and still claim we owe them more, right? Even though in their termination agreement, they say, we're going to call this even, right?
Mm-hmm. But even we're going to call this even is that super sketchy behavior of like, hey, we've made up fines. We're threatening you with fines. Give us your entire store or else
exactly.
Fines
but also,
that's what they did to Relic. Yeah.
We also have Kai on the phone that night saying, you reached out to us to sell the store.
Yeah, they know for a fact we were not going to abandon it. They know
we weren't going to abandon it.
So
we
every
have
time
Kai
they say
on
that,
the phone saying,
we thought they were going to declare bankruptcy or abandon the store.
Yeah.
Not only is that not true, but they knew it was not true.
Yeah,
when
because Kai is on the phone saying, you guys wanted to sell the store. And so we just feel like this is the best way to go about it.
That one I'll go out, and a little more on a limb and say, that is just a lie.
Yeah.
Like that, they could say you're defaming us, and I will say, here is your employee recorded on audio saying that he was aware that we were interested in selling the store.
And the whole reason why we wanted to move the store, like the whole reason why we wanted to sell the store is because we planned to move. Like, it's not like we were going to abandon the store or some of what I've heard is that we stole Brian's Legos and then fled the country.
Yeah.
But like, do you have any idea how much it would have cost to get that size of a collection to Europe?
To Spain?
And Brian Mansell has never even come within 1,000,000 yards of saying something like that.
It took us $4,000 to get our dogs to Europe.
Right.
Right? Our tiny 30-pound dogs. Our 90-pound dog. Can you imagine?
Yeah, boxes of Lego. We did not take any boxes of Lego to Europe.
Ugh.
So, do you guys know of any other stores that's been taken over by Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson?
No.
Do you? I don't.
I don't.
Relics.
I mean, the ones we know of that were taken over, we don't know if they were taken over by them. We don't know.
Well,
who was responsible.
So we know the one in Lutz, Florida was.
Yep.
not entirely. Three of them had never interacted with Brandon or Josh. One of them had interacted with Josh. And then
So
it would also be
this pattern may
interesting.
predate Brandon.
It would also be interesting to see if there are ones that like Josh and Brandon weren't involved in the takeover, but then were sold to Josh and Brandon later.
Yeah.
I also like to see that. Who got ownership?
Well, as far as I know, it seemed like they only owned the two, but it could have been, for all we know, it could have been other ones. Yeah, we'd have to see records. But they only, I know that Josh only ever mentioned the Eugene store. I remember he's on video only ever mentioning the Eugene store as well as the Salem store. So, but I want to show this real quick before I forget here, because we're about to wrap up here in a moment. I wanted to show this. So this is what I was referring to earlier. Where is it? So this is Officer Blackburn. This is actually the guy I was mistaking with Richardson. He's the one that went to jail apparently for abusing a kid. I had said it was, it sounded like, the way they made it sound like is that he was a child enthusiast, but then I guess there was no specifics on what that was. So then I recanted that. But then this is what Punk King had shared. I want to show you guys this real quick. This is what Punk King had shared on X, which I thought was interesting because Lackluster, that was from Lackluster's video, that thing. And then Punk King shared this, which you see here. I don't know if you guys can see this tweet, but you see right here what it says. Lackluster is teasing a potential new video about the AFPD. It doesn't seem to be an angle anyone else has talked about. Not sure what evidence has surfaced yet. So this is there's Blackburn here, right? But you see what Lackluster is saying here. He says, Officer Christian Blackburn of American Fork Police Department is a PDF file. I have the case files to prove it. So that's going to be interesting when that comes out. I'm going to be very interested to see like what exactly it is that he's going to be talking about in that. So that's going to be wild. We appreciate your sub. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sticking here with us. But I wanted to take the opportunity to also share Ben's Gibson Go for those of you that want to help him out. Like I said, if you want to donate. If not, share it. I think that's just as good. But we're pretty much at the end here, folks. We're gonna wrap it up for tonight. But we will be back Monday. Sundays are our day off, our rest days. So we'll be back Monday evening. So if you're new, please make sure to sub to the channel. Make sure to like the video. We appreciate all that. And hope you guys will join us on Monday. Yeah, Punk King is always representing. Yeah, we love Punk King. Punk King's always on top of stuff. So we appreciate all his hard work in keeping up to date with everything.
Great source of info.
Yeah, he's a fantastic source of info. So so that we're gonna play the outro song here. We're gonna play the outro song, and then everybody's gonna.
I do know.
Gonna call it a night, but yeah, we'll play Little Richie.
Wait, I'm waiting on you, Gabe. Don't let me down. Wait, I'll be streaming after this.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me share Relic's channel for those of you that want to go to his stream afterwards. And we'll probably finish off the Chrystal interview next stream. We only got a little bit left. I think
I'll
like
be
20
talking
minutes
about
left
what
from
it
that,
takes
so-
to be a good employee. It's not
So-
what you think.
So be sure to check out Relic's channel. Sub to him. Make sure he's going to be streaming after us here. So make sure to join his stream and show the man some love and support. But we're going to leave y'all with some Little Richie featuring Snort Raglan, Symphony of an E-Beggar, Dark
Y'all
Side
take
Phil,
care.
and Wings
Have
of
a good
Redemption.
evening. Boom, bam.
Good night.
All right.
Liquid
good
Richard
night.
Productions.
My name is Richard. I am Darkside Phil. Oh my god. I really need to make this fucking money. I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I'm done. Why am I poisoning? What? Why am I toxic? It was like a Why am I toxic? It was like a Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a loser. Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a loser. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Why are you doing this to me? I just can't do it. Real talk, why? Ban anybody that says they have Apple. Ban anybody that says they have Apple. We made $1 and lost 1 subscriber. So you guys earn 3 minutes of commercials. I don't smell my fingers. I touch my face. Did something that's a twitch. Did something that's a twitch. Got no bitch in my blood. 0 bitch in my blood. Honestly, straight lies in people's faces. I don't smell my fingers, right? That was my depression. I need that money. Pay my bills, electric bill, the internet bill. That was my depression. I need that money. Pay my bills, electric bill, the internet bill. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Why are you doing this to me? I just can't do it. Why am I toxic? It was like a Why am I toxic? It was like a Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a loser. Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a loser. Big Liquid Richard. Nigdy déjà nique mes bandes. Le perroque de nique mes bourrins. Le perroque de nique mes bourrins. Le perroque de nique mes bourrins. 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 Bourrins.